So, speaking directly to the ESPN audience, he says, go to my website to find out what's happening in Japan before you fill out your bracket picks. Otherwise, you probably would never hear anything about what's going on over there. Only if you go to my website. So he obviously he heard the criticism. And in order to try to recapture some credibility, told the ESPN audience to go to his website to learn what's going on in Japan before filling out the bracket picks. We are living through this, and it's starting. They're just small little ripples. The media and some of the people on the Democrat side are now beginning to. I mean, this is not at all what they expected. You know, but you go back to 2007, 2008. This guy, you remember, was the end all. There had never, ever been anybody in American politics like Barack Obama. We were to be treated, we were in store for a politics unlike the world had ever seen before. Problems were to be solved practically overnight in the midst of great goodwill and love and karma, and we had people falling all over themselves, talking about the greatness embodied in this. Why, heck, folks, the Nobel people, they're jokes anyway. They gave him a peace prize on the come. It's never happened. They gave him a peace prize because they thought his ascension to leader of the regime would bring peace around the world. Look at what is happening. Now, I believe that a lot of this early support for Obama can be discovered in people on the left and the media having this inherent feeling of sympathy for minorities. They group minorities as people who are, by virtue of minority status, they're weak. They do not, they don't belong, quote unquote. Much as the social blue bloods determine who belongs and who doesn't. Much like the conservative intellectuals are dealing with Sarah Palin. She just doesn't belong. Yeah, she doesn't have the right pedigree. For whatever reason, this doesn't belong. Well, minorities don't belong. But they've been so victimized. They've gotten the shaft in this country. I don't care whether it's the Native Americans. I don't care whether it's blacks. I don't care whether it's the Chinese that built the railroads. Every minority has been given a shaft. And so there's this inherent sympathy for them on the part of liberal do-gooders. And I think part of this irrational interpretation of Obama and his political talents is founded and rooted in this view of him with sympathy. Oh, the poor guy. It just, so we're gonna bend over backwards here to make sure that he gets every advantage that has been denied him and his people and every other minority because of the unfairness and the discrimination and whatever else has been attached to the majority in this country since its founding. So I really do. I really believe that there is an element of sympathy. Oh, geez, it's so unfortunate. Oh, there's a minority. And that leads and has led many in the media and on the left in this country to look past any deficiencies, look past any flaws, ignore them. In fact, excuse them. Well, of course they're flawed. Of course, we can't hold anybody accountable to their flaws when they come from a minority. They've been discriminated against, blah, 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 blah. So they had this picture of Obama. They presented it. They caricatured an image of the guy. Could not be possible for any human being to live up to. And now everybody sees what an absolute sham all of that was. There's not even the pretense to greatness here. There's not even an illusion of it. There's not even a hope for greatness. It's all to be manufactured now. So even people on the left are looking at all of these world events and the domestic crumbling that's going on And, you know, their lines are on the line here. Their reputations are at stake because they presented this image of this guy that we all have. So they're, of course, going to be the last people to arrive at the conclusion that we've got basically an incompetent in the highest office in the land. So excuses will continue to be made. Well, he needs to recharge. He needs to get away. Look at what he inherited. He didn't bargain for all this when he ran for office. He's got these evil stuff that Bush left him. He's got these crazy Republicans. He's got to deal with the Tea Party. All these excuses are continuing to be made. And meanwhile, the best excuse yet that I've heard for anybody trying to tell us that we're not seeing what we're seeing is, you know, this stuff is just, he's so a man of the world. This is just all this beneath him. This is, to you and I, Rush, this big stuff, nuclear disasters in Japan and rising food prices, gasoline, energy problems, the Middle East, but that's, Obama's vision is so universe-wide that this is just beneath him. It's almost a distraction, poor guy. And he's not made to deal with such small things. But unfortunately, that's what his hand is, and he's got to deal with it. I mean, I've rarely seen such a coordinated effort undertaken to excuse dangerous incompetence. And we're getting it. Each and every day it ramps up. I want you to ask yourself, in the midst of all this, and forget the nuke stuff in Japan, if you forget the Middle East, just take a look at the domestic economic circumstances in this country, which have worsened since he took office. You put any other president, even if it's a Democrat, if it were another Democrat in office, going on television, ESPN, to do these picks in the midst of all of this, why, whoever that president was, particularly Republican, but even another Democrat, would be scalded. Would I think Carter would? Well, Carter was he was somewhat excused. Again, he was so smart. He was above so much of the job, but not so much. And Carter did not have as I recall, Carter did not have a preordained love relationship with the media. He didn't at all, and it just wasn't Nixon. And the media didn't create him. The media didn't have a whole lot personally invested in Carter. They made Obama. They created this obviously false image and characterization, which is now a caricature. Media hated Carter for a while. But we are, with Obama, we are defining the presidency down. It's happening right before our very eyes. And it is breathtaking